That hurt.
All right, welcome to Straight Red Card. We thought we'd do a little sidebar piece. You know, what the hell?
Too many tasty tidbits came up before the game.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have a lot of time to cover them on Wednesday, so why not do it now? Right.
And obviously, assuming we do a Thursday show, because we already are going to be doing a Wednesday show. Who knows if we're doing a Thursday show?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it depends on the result, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
I wouldn't want to wait till like the following Monday to cover some of this stuff because a lot of it's going to be obsolete at that point.
It will be. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, let's get to what we got to get to. As
we start with all of our shows, let's introduce a fluff piece here. God, my kids are loud.
Jesus.
So this type of video is going around all the time. Like there's a bunch of these type of videos, but they're always funny.
God, this is great.
Like what? That's be like pudding in there or something like that.
It's Nutella.
No.
I got we're gonna get dinged on, I'm sure.
Yeah, so let's stop. That's enough. That's good.
Oh man.
You know, it's kind of
there's no way. I mean, outside of the initial shock, maybe I guess, but there's no way unless the hole on the entryway is smaller than the exit hole. There's no way that they would put their hand in there, not realizing that the donkey's ass must be just gaping at that point, right? But then you pull it out, and you see that there's brown stuff all over your hand. There's a donkey in front of you. Yeah, you're gonna freak out. But I mean, come on, let's be critical about this.
It kind of reminds me of high school when we used to do this prank. We used to go to downtown Indianapolis to the what's the old train station? Union Station, when they had all the food places and shopping and all there.
Gaming center, yeah.
Yeah, so we would go into the bathroom and we'd have like a Snickers bar, a melted Snickers bar, and we'd rub it all over our hands.
Okay, I was trying to figure out what you're gonna do with this. Like, why would you go to the bathroom to eat a Snickers bar?
And we would just sit in the stall until someone got in next door. And then I would reach underneath their stall with my hand and go, "Hey man, I'm out of toilet paper. Can you pass me a roll?" With a big, obviously looks like I had shit and peanuts all over my hand.
Well, fortunately, when you were going to Union Station, it was probably more happening than it was at the tail end of it, like when I was going.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Union
tail
Station
end.
when Union Station went away and they brought in downtown. What is it? Circle Center, the mall.
Right. Yeah,
which is a shame. Now Union Station now is kind of an event center that I know a friend of ours got married there.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. Take away all the cool old stuff out of Indy and turn it into some kind of a trap. I mean, it's just it was cool.
It was a cool place to hang out as a high schooler, but I'm sure, they were worried about other things like violence or whatever. I don't know. So, it went away.
You got that anywhere in any form of public area.
Yeah, you could take your date there. You can go on a date there. It was pretty cool. Go out to eat. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all gone. But yeah, we used to do a similar prank with Snickers bars. So
yeah. You know who else got pranked? Jesse Marsch got pranked.
Jesse Marsch got pranked.
He got pranked.
Canada head coach Jesse Marsch after being eliminated from the Gold Cup by Guatemala. If I'm honest, we're missing half our group. That's not an excuse. We fell short, and that's painful. I believe in these guys entirely. This is going to be part of it. This interview is going to be in our new intro, by the way.
Oh, good.
So,
it's contradictory, right?
Absolutely.
Man, it's a bummer. We're missing like half our team, but I believe in these guys.
Half?
Yeah, somebody commented when I posted this. I go because I quoted it saying, "Oh no, you're missing part of your team. Wonder what that? Well, that's a shame." I mean, we're missing all of our team practically.
What 10 or 11 guys are they missing?
There's only like 3 starters that are missing.
Yeah, I didn't get this at all. Like this, I found this extremely
like Davies, Bambito, and then that dude that's playing in Portugal or whatever.
So like such an
name. I don't remember his name.
Such an exaggeration, right? Estacchio, you mean maybe?
Yeah, that is.
That's actually not French at all, but yeah, point enough.
Fair enough.
It's Portuguese.
I might be mixing him with somebody else I'm thinking of when I think of the really French name, but
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, you don't do this to yourself. I mean, why you say something like that?
yeah,
You know,
say, yeah, we came out, we played. Man, we got a boneheaded red card, and we fought all the way tooth and nail to the very end.
yeah, and it was Schaffelberg's red card that was the turning point. So,
sure.
I mean, he's not going to sit there and say, Jacob fucked us over.
Yeah.
But to say, hey, you're missing half your team, that's just not true.
Kind of throws that team under the other half that's been included under the bus.
And number two, who are all these guys that you wanted to call up that couldn't show up? Mm-hmm. Let me know. I'd like to know. Someone in the comments, let me know.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, we're missing about half our team.
At least,
yeah. Literally over half our team.
Yeah.
So Edgar posted what he's looking forward to potentially being the next starting 11 for a U.S. men's national team camp.
Totally
not Wednesday's game, but just next camp.
Going forward.
Yeah.
Totally reasonable.
As it stands right now.
Yes. Totally reasonable.
So he's got Freeze, and Robinson.
Yep.
Richards and Ream in the middle.
Yep.
I mean, people are like, Ream, why are we starting Ream?
Well, we got to look at the comments.
Yeah,
the comments
who's taking the spot?
Just, ridiculous.
They're off the wall, some of them. We got Adams, Tillman, McKinney.
Yep, reasonable.
Hard to argue. Although I wouldn't necessarily do never mind. He's going to have to do it with an Adams as a true destroyer in this situation because you have two fullbacks that are going to be pushing up.
Yes.
Tillman and McKinney. McKinney's probably going to play more of the box-to-box 8. Tillman's probably going to play more of an advanced 8, if you will. Less of a 10 because I think Pulisic's probably going to be running back into that middle playing a 10 with Balogun and Tim Weah.
Now, could this actually be reshaped into a 4-2-3-1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and probably will be. Honestly.
Probably could see that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. McKinney will be that box-to-box, so he'll probably play more alongside Adams. Mm-hmm. And Tillman's going to play that more advanced role.
Right, in the middle with Weah.
You tell Pulisic, quit cutting into the middle, stay on your outside, beat your men.
Yes, so you got, Adams, McKinney, Tillman playing the 10, Weah, Pulisic, and Balogun. So 4-2-3-1, it doesn't really change the people, the players. No.
Does he say my team should be like this of all things seen? Okay.
Sure.
I'm kind of surprised Edgar doesn't have Pepe. I mean, assuming that Pepe's healthy. He's definitely been a big Pepe stan.
Yeah, I flip your coin.
I mean, it's hard to argue against Pepe's production for the national team at this point.
I wouldn't complain either way if either one showed up.
True. If both were healthy and we had to alternate who's going to be our 9 between the two games in a window,
yeah,
I'd be happy. I'm more than happy, right?
I'd celebrate it. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yep. That'd be a big deal. And then the comments. Oh my God.
Luna for McKinney.
That's not happening.
Tillman would play better with Pepe. Bello needs
okay, that's fine. Yeah. You want to argue that.
And I mean, you're splitting hairs. I think with Tillman, I think he'd probably play better with Balla because Balla's looking for those runs between the lines of defense.
Right. And then
still get Pepe, I guess. I'm not arguing against Pepe.
Right. Our friend Frank had something down there too. Why is Tim Ream always in the starting lineup? Is he good? Do you watch the games? Do you follow the team? He's in there because we don't have anybody else that Poach trusts. That's the answer. Oh, God.
Luna starting over Tim Weah and push Pulisic to the right.
I just don't see that happening quite yet.
No, I mean it's hard to argue against Tim Weah out wide. Although you could make the argument: do we want to play him out left and Pulisic out right? Because Weah cutting in on his right foot is much more dangerous.
He's pretty good with a cross too.
Oh yeah, he's a killer cross. I agree. Low cross too.
I mean, the point in the current setup is either Luna needs to beat out Pulisic or he needs to beat out Tillman for a spot on the starting 11, and that's not happening.
Well, and Luna could play that 10/8 role, fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Tillman's been lining up for club and country as of this window, but Luna's been doing well too. I think Tillman's definitely edged.
Yeah, he's like a stage above everybody else.
He's a man on a mission.
He's another level. Like, you look at Tillman, Bayer Leverkusen looks at Tillman and goes, that's a guy we're going to pay $40 million for. They do not look at Diego Luna and go, that's a guy we're paying $40 million for. Right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Let's just be really fair.
Drew here saying, hey, where's Brooks London?
That's not even funny.
It's pretty funny. Come on.
No Brown, of course. Why is he going to throw Brown in there? Have we showed any inkling that we're even interested in Brown? And nobody will talk about Brown, who works in the actual media. So why are you talking about him being, or shouldn't he be in the? No one should put him in any lineup right now. Why? Because as far as I understand it, he might as well be on the moon to poach. Let's be fair. On the moon.
Play way at the 9, Pulisic on the right, Luna on the left. And then you're right.
Yeah.
But Edgar says, why would we play way at the 9? We already have Balogun and Pepe.
Yeah.
Who are legit playing 9s their entire career. Now, Weah started off at the 9, and by the time you got to a club, they decided, well, you have some attributes that work out well on the wing instead.
I don't know about the "and you're right," as if he
do this and then you're right.
And then you're right. Why do people comment like that?
I'm looking for Frank here. Where's Frank?
Arson? People keep putting arson? Question mark. There are a couple of them that said that. Exactly how does Arson beat out Jedi for the left back spot when he's not really a left back? He's a left winger or a left wing back at best.
So, I made the argument today because people are bashing on Arson. And you can make your argument one way or another. Yes, he's got past couple games, he's gotten assists, he's gotten goals, but he's also been horrific 1v1 defending. So I think moving forward, the only way you really can play Arson outside of a sub would be to play with either 3 in the center as 3 center backs, or play him contending for a wing spot, which he'll still be bench fodder at best.
Hell yeah. The dude is a bench player. What are we talking about here, people? What are we doing out here in the Twitterverse?
As we're going to find out here on this upcoming video, the people just put a lot of stock in how a Gold Cup goes.
Why?
I mean, go back 2 Gold Cups ago. Don't even worry about the one where BJ ran it, but the one that Greg ran it. I mean, we had what was the Italian American dude? Not Novakovic, but the other dude, Gioacchino.
Oh, Gioacchino.
We had him, and we had Hoppy, who were arguably 2 of our better, players there
at the time.
Where are they now?
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, we're putting a lot of stock in a CONCACAF tournament where most of our opposition are tiny island nations that don't compete.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting really annoyed by the Arson. Listen, I think we've been fair to Arson. We're not out here raging on Arson, saying he sucks and that he's got no skills. We're saying he's really good going forward, and that was a good, clean finish. But he also can't fucking defend for his life. Somebody pointed out, well, he can learn to defend. Yes, well, he needs to start learning fast.
Do it at the club level, at the national team level.
Right, the World Cup's coming up in a year. He's going to have to advance quite a bit in order to make that happen. So,
Frank, where are you?
Frank put up his own alternative lineup as a 3 in the back. And he had Jedi as one of the left center back. Why would we do that to ourselves?
Here's Tyler K. The Balogun, Pulisic, Tillman. Instead of Weah. Jedi, Johnny Adams, McKenzie, Dest. I don't know why it's Johnny in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Johnny to be the Johnny of Batiste. But what has he done on the national team that warrants him a spot in that midfield?
Nada.
And I'm trying not to be mean that our backs are so high up there that we're actually playing with 2 here.
Yeah, that's not. Why would we do this? This is a weird ass lineup.
I mean,
4-3-3.
Take Johnny out, put Shillman back, and then you put Weah back up there. I mean, it's the same lineup in the end.
It is, but I don't think And then he's got McKenzie.
Oh yeah, that's fucked up. I bet you meant McKinney.
He
No,
must
there's-
have. He must mean McKenzie.
Unless Adams and McKenzie are supposed to be flip-flopped here, and it is a 3-back. That's a possibility. He could be
I don't
going
know.
a 3-4-3 here.
You got to put up a lineup, at least get it right. But Johnny, not been good so far, and it's not my opinion of Johnny. It's Poach's opinion of Johnny, and I don't think it's that high.
Did Frank quote tweet him or something? Here's Mr. Money. That's not ours.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I summoned Miss Frank. I don't know. I'm not going to go back and look for him, though.
Yep. Oh, well.
So, but this takes us right into a video you threw my way.
Yeah.
And in this video, Derek, and I found out later after I texted back to you on a couple things, I found out that you just stopped after the first timestamp that you gave me.
As soon as that dumbass opened his mouth.
That was it, right?
Yes.
We're just going to cover this one thing. Like it gets different throughout the entire video here.
Well, as soon as the guy opened, I gave him 1 minute, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't stand this already.
Yeah. So this is a video called Mauricio Pochettino has a new A team for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now you hear this title, you read it to yourself.
What
you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be completely different than the 18 that we have, right?
All right. Clickbait is what this is.
Impressive. I'm impressed by the clickbaitiness of it all. So let's listen to some of the stuff he has to say.
I'm going to start off by saying something right now. I'm a little tired of hearing about this being a B squad.
I don't care.
Oh, he's so tired. He's so tired of it. Why are you tired of it? What's his name?
Nate
Bukkake. Nate Bukkake. Because he's ready to jizz all over MLS. Because he works for MLS. All right? So I'm so sorry you're so tired of hearing about it being the B time. What a fucking baby. What kind of baby says that?
So he does eventually announce that he has a bias towards MLS because he does broadcasting for MLS.
So your first impression is you're a bitch, and now you're going to walk it back after coming out and like a crybaby because the reality is this is mostly a B team?
Well, he does go into explaining why he's tired of hearing about the B team because he doesn't necessarily think that the A team, who's solely picked because of skill, warrants him to be an A team because there's other aspects to the game than just skill.
Right. Well, there's winning. That would be nice if our A team could win. That would be nice. That'd be a good start for them to start doing, and not playing like a bunch of bitches. But to start off your comment like, I am so sick of people calling this a B team. You mean like even John Stone and Alexi Lawless and Landon Donovan and about everybody else who's been watching the games knows what this is. It's a tryout for a B team to find a few guys. That's it.
And just like all the narratives where, we would say something, people would be like, oh, you're toxic. Then a couple years later, the whole mainstream media piles on and starts doing the exact same thing. Then we move on. Oh, this is a B, C squad. And then, we had Fox last time going, oh, this isn't a B squad. This is the U.S. men's national team squad.
Oh,
and they don't talk about the B squad. I mean, we had the Paramount squad who came out and said, like, during Camp Cupcake, saying, this is like the B minus C squad.
Yes.
And I'm like, guys, look, Beasley told us this. We know that now. Everybody knows it.
Only Beasley would be honest about it, though, right? And prior to that, Fox just covered it up and jizzed all over Ferrer for fucking half an hour. They made us think to the point where I had my brother and my friends texting me going, who are these guys? I don't know any of these guys. I had to sit down and explain who these players were to my friends because they didn't do their work. They didn't do the people watching the show any homework. They didn't present the facts. Hey, we're missing a bunch of guys, but hey, let's support the guys that did show.
I don't think it has anything to do with doing homework. I think the broadcast team goes, well, we can't be out here saying this is a B and C squad because we want everybody to watch the games.
you want them to watch, but then why are they all texting me going, who's Jesus Ferreira? Nobody even knew who he was. And yet they're making him out to be the best player on the team, the next great center forward.
Striker. Yeah.
Yes. And it was infuriating. At least this time, thank God, Fox has learned their lesson. They did a whole show, a pregame show about, all right, yes, there are all these dudes missing, but let's support the guys we have, and here's who they are. Fine. I'm totally fine with providing context. Good. I don't even like the way this starts, but since you
let's continue with me. We stopped
it
so quickly. Maybe he chimes in here in a second.
All right.
Let's hear his explanation why this shouldn't be considered a B squad.
Sure.
I've had enough of hearing that. And I understand why we're getting that conversation right now. You have all these players that are missing or players that chose not to show up or are injured. But for me, why?
Players that chose not to show up. I mean, shouldn't this be a player? Who's the second?
Musa.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, technically he's right, though. Technically he's right, so I can't argue that now.
It is an S.
That was the only thing in plus 6, so, yep, you brought Musa into the equation, so hey, Nate, you got it right there.
You got it right, buddy.
Why is there an ipso facto A team for the United States men's national team?
Oh, my God, he used Latin.
What is that?
He used Latin, ipso facto. What? This guy must be really educated.
Why is there an A's team that's penciled in at this point? And not saying that the A team can't fuck up a game also, but we just watched the Switzerland team destroy us.
Absolutely destroy
us. And you know what? We went out there and we played with a lot of heart and grit. And the lack of comparable skill was displayed hardcore. Now, mind you, that was Pochettino's second team that has barely seen the pitch since then, of course.
So are we all saying, or is this guy saying, I'd rather go down with the ship burning with a bunch of guys who care, because this sounds like what he's saying. A lot of people are saying this. I'd rather go down with the ship burning with guys who really come out and care a lot, than a bunch of guys who are a lot better that don't care. And then we get into the caring thing again, don't we?
Yeah. He's like, I'd rather be the 100 man rather than the one gorilla, is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, something like that. It's just like
the 100 men might take down the one gorilla, but that one gorilla took out quite a few guys.
I don't think that the guys don't care. I do think they don't play with a chip on their shoulder, like they've got something to prove.
Sure.
That's the point. And if you'd rather go down on a burning ship that can barely beat, as we did last night, Costa Rica, or do you want to go out with your very best players who are inspirable and probably will have a chip on their shoulder come World Cup time? I don't know. I mean,
here comes a 40 chest idea move by Pochettino in the end. Because we all came out whenever he announced his roster going 16 MLS players. What the fuck? But he's sitting there going like, well, I mean, I just left all these guys off. And you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna play the Hades, we're gonna play the Saudi Arabias, we're gonna move on to the knockout stages, and then we're gonna grind it out. And hopefully, maybe by the end of it, you're gonna have a bunch of people saying, well, maybe this guy should start. Well, maybe this guy should start. And then my A squad, will realize the fire is burning their nutsack and then start working.
Yeah, although again, Weah's not here and neither is McKennie, not through any fault of their own.
Sure.
But I guess you can still send a message to them, right? Like, hey, there are other guys and I'm trying them out and your job's not safe. And I do hope that wakes them up. And I hope it wakes all of them up. Testament, everybody.
Our overall squad, including some of the players on this squad, obviously, are too good to be playing the way that we've been playing for the last year and some change.
Yes.
I'm not taking anything away from the fact that our A team has been sucking donkey dick since Copa America.
Yes.
What I'm saying is to sit here and say, well, Pochettino's got a new A team, baby.
Yeah.
What? Why?
And all those guys are Pulisic, McKennie, Weah, they all need to go. Balogun,
those Dest and
Pepe,
Jedi. Who needs them?
Jedi, Dest. Who needs all those guys, right?
Although, could you imagine how good this team would be if we had Dest and Jedi?
Yeah, it'd be a lot better. Be a lot better right now. Yes.
Oh my God, it'd be phenomenal.
Been one of our weaknesses in this so far, and this has been Freeman. Has not been bad, but a little lacking. And then
a couple of mind fuck ups, but yeah, overall not bad.
Not bad, but we wouldn't say not bad about Des. Des would probably be taking names here. He'd be shimmying and shaking dudes out of their drawers, right? And Arsene, again, fine going forward. He can't play defense.
Yeah.
All right, so Jedi can go forward and play defense. He's probably one of the best multi-use left backs in the Premier League.
And you know what? Dest can go up and he can come back and defend. The funny thing is that we used to criticize Dest's defensive ability. Go like, oh my God, that's gonna be our glaring hole. And then you look at our backups to this point. I mean, Scally doesn't move up in the attack, but he's solid enough in the defense. Okay, we can alter the lineup that way. However, past that, you're sitting there going like, what? who are we gonna play where? What? Huh?
I'm sure this guy thinks Scally's one of the guys that should be on the chopping block, and that Arsene and Freeman have taken his role, taken his spot. I would think that's what this guy thinks.
Maybe.
But go ahead.
We'll find out. We'll continue.
The A team accomplished over the past calendar year. Losses to Panama in knockout round games. They haven't shown me anything that's proven that they deserve to be written in pen as A-team players.
Real quickly, I agree with them in the last calendar year outside of the game against Jamaica and the Nations League qualifiers. Yeah, A-team hasn't really done shit.
Nope, they sucked.
Don't disagree. To steal a point from Pulisic, though, it's amazing how quick people are quick to forget.
Right.
Because prior to this calendar year, before Copa, the team had been playing well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially under BJ and Hudson.
BJ and Hudson, they were fabulous. So, what happened since then? Well, Greg came back, and
our anus is puckered back up. That's what happened.
Yes, and now Poach is here, and the anuses were puckered again. So, yeah, he's right in the sense that things have not been good lately. There's no doubt.
I don't disagree with this guy 100% of the time. I'm just saying there's some things that he's leaving out, and some things it's kind of a hyperbolic argument here.
But the guys we're watching right now, outside of Tillman and Luna, and nobody's blowing my dick off. So I don't understand what we're talking about here.
You're going to be getting into his point here soon, because those are like the only two people he mentions.
Oh, okay, good.
Aside from our already A-team players, like Richards, Ream, that's about it really, and Adams, sorry.
Yeah.
So
I think we all get so hung up on where these guys are playing their club ball right now that we don't pay attention to what the actual form is with the national team. And there's two different things here. There's form for your club and there's form for your country. I think we've seen time and time again across the world that they don't always line up.
No. I think it's few and far between those instances, though.
Yeah, I would say it's very not normal for those things not to line up. I'm sorry. Yes, there are examples of that out there, and they're rare for the most part. And usually I'll use a recent example when Olivier Giroud was at LAFC. Well, if you're not going to play a style that helps a target striker succeed, then why are you playing a target striker? Because you don't play that way and you don't ever cross the ball. If you're LAFC, then why did you go out and get him? And now he's gone. He's leaving. He's going back to France because, what a waste.
But it also in that argument, this is the Sargent argument all over again, quite frankly. Let me rephrase this. Pepe and Sargent. Pepe managed to find ways of scoring goals, so I'll give him props on this. But under Greg, we played a role where we didn't really rely on our 9 to be in the box ready to score goals. He was they're always checking further back, receiving with the ball with their back to the goal, laying it off to the wingers, and the wingers did most of the dirty work when it comes to goals,
Right.
midfield goal production. So it depends on how you're playing in the end. But I think the whole argument is it's few and far between. We can't look at the outliers. We have to look at the overall.
Well, my point is you can have a really great player, but if you don't play him in the right position or in the right way, using the right style, he's not probably going to play very well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we watched Tillman play holding midfielder not that long ago in a game. What was that all about? And why was he asked to do that? I don't know. Ask Poach, I guess.
All right, let's let him finish this thought, and then we'll move on to the next timestamp.
This men's national team right now, to me, is a young group of players who are hungry, who want to be there, who might be missing a little bit of that quality that we're talking about with some of the players that are missing. But I think they're making up for it in certain ways with a little bit of bite, a little bit of fight, and they found a way to get a result. And you can minimize if I say, oh, Costa Rica, you beat Costa Rica, you had to go to penalties to do so. You had to come from behind to do so. Well, the A-team wasn't able to do that against Panama the last 2 times they faced them in knockout rounds. Costa Rica are just as good of a challenge, if not more so, than Panama.
What do you think about that, Derek?
I think Panama's a better team and has been for some time.
Panama's been the better team for the past couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. But it's not so far apart, I suppose. You can't say they're similar type opponents.
And that would have been fair to say. Hey, Costa Rica are similar to Panama in that sense.
Yeah, it's close enough. And, we've been bad. I mean, we're saying it right here. We've been saying it for a while. Mm-hmm. The A-team's been poor. Now, why is the question? Is it just because they don't care? They don't bring any fight? They don't bring any fire? I mean, maybe these guys are bringing more fight and fire. We certainly saw more physicality in the last game. But, man.
Well, I mentioned this before the Gold Cup started. But, I mean, this team comes out. They're going to get some results. We all predicted that they're going to be out of the group stage, no problem. They made it into the semis now. I don't believe that Poach is not going to be calling in a smattering of his starting 11 here to be brought in September. Mix them in with the A-team and really sort of say, well, you guys are still left off because these guys performed for me recently. You got to work your way back into the shit.
And if we're talking about who in this starting 11 are actually B-team guys, I suppose it's not really that much. Certainly Freeze came in as a B-team guy. He certainly solidified the fact that he might be A-team material now.
Hard to argue against him, yeah.
Arson's a backup at best. Freeman's a backup at best.
Probably
Ream, he's on the A-team because we got nobody else that's stepping up.
Nobody's stepping up.
Richards, Adams, A-team guys. Tillman, A-team guy. Luna certainly solidified his spot as being possibly an A-team guy.
I think Luna is making a stance with Pochettino since Camp Cupcake that he belongs with the A-team.
So maybe he's making a point here, but I still don't see Luca De La Torre as necessarily somebody who's going to make the 2026 team, and it goes for Berhalter and Aguiman for sure.
I think Luca De La Torre is doing enough to warrant more conversation. He's still pretty consistent. He's serviceable and he's consistent. Now, I'm not saying he's opening up the defense or anything like that, but he moves the ball around well enough. He breaks up defense. I think he's had a pretty good tournament so far.
I like him, but all those guys, Luca De La Torre is a bench guy at best. You would think if everyone's healthy, he's a bench guy. Berhalter, I'm not sure.
Careful. You might get some ire by this. I mean, who would have thought by me saying, hey, his performance against Costa Rica was a mixed bag of results, would draw the ire as if I'm bashing Berhalter.
Listen, Berhalter's brought the fight. I'll give it to him, but there are some deficiencies there. And I don't think he's taken away his position, and I don't think he's taken a lot of other guys' positions yet. And Aguiman, hell no. It's Pepe, and of course it's Balogun, and then, well, God help us.
I can't judge Poach after those two. He might stick with Aguiman at that point. I don't know.
I'm still frustrated with the whole, Tillman has been horrible up until this tournament for the U.S. men's national team.
Mm-hmm.
And this tournament is giving him the opportunity to build his confidence with this team. The same could have been done with Josh Sargent. Let him go out and play some minnows in the group stage and watch him score a bunch of goals. Because I think he would have, and I think that would have changed his confidence as well. I think most people are sick of talking about Josh Sargent, but I just don't understand why that wasn't done here. The same thing that he did for Tillman, you do for Sargent. You say, listen, I watched you score the last 2 seasons for Norwich. I know you're a great player for Norwich. So I'm going to give you this last shot here in the Gold Cup against the smaller guys to build your confidence and see if we can't turn things around, as he did for Tillman. And it worked with Tillman. It could have worked for Sargent too. But no, we're going to watch Agumon run around now and start every single game of this tournament. That's what's going to happen.
Yep. So, let's see here. We are at this. We're going to find out who Nate thinks is stepping up, because we kind of alluded to this point, but I want him to say the words himself.
Nate Bukaki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you take a look at this starting 11, to me, there are some players who have really stepped forward. First thing I want to do is shout out players like Tyler Adams, Tim Ream, and Chris Richards, who are out there showing that they do, even though they've been playing at bigger clubs across the pond. Tim Ream's, of course, back in the United States now, but he's got that resume under his belt. They want to be a part of this. So I think you've got to sort.
So I keep going back because he's basically just talking to Musa and Pulisic at that point.
I think so.
I mean, maybe he's talking about some of the players that were left off for footballing reasons. Maybe they didn't put enough oomph into their games in those games, but they would have all loved to have been here.
Well, I love these people who write me. This happened a couple times. Well, we don't really know why some of these players like Tessman, Scally, and Sargent were really left off. Okay, genius. What do you think the reason is? You think they told Poach they didn't want to play?
I need a break, Coach.
No, they didn't. So what could be the only other reason they were left off? It could be he just wanted to see new guys.
It's about sending a message, Derek. It's about sending a message.
It is. Exactly. It's basically saying, hey, you guys are kind of too soft. And I'm going to go try a bunch of other guys, and I hope that sends you a message to fucking muscle up.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so besides the 18 players, who's he going to bring in? Who's he talking about?
Circle those guys right off the bat. But for me, Diego Luna has proven that he has something that I think the national team's been lacking. Malik Tillman's been very good so far in this competition for me. I think he's starting to prove, and we'll talk later about the potential transfer for him to a bigger league and a bigger club. But some of these other players, they've had their ups and downs. Arfston's been a little mercurial. He's had bad moments. He's had good moments.
Ooh,
Agumon,
big word.
the skill's not quite there maybe compared to some of the other number 9s, but he does at least cause problems for other teams' backlines. And
Primarily ours, because he falls to the ground.
I mean,
all right, that was a low blow. That was a low blow. He had a good, decent performance against Costa Rica.
Even Bretos is admitting that the last game against Costa Rica was meh, which is amazing. You say it's a better game than the last game. Max says it's a worse game than the last game.
Well, it's because Aji didn't score.
And I said they're both the same. They look the same to me.
I think Ajimon, he stood up on his feet. He maybe fell over once in the match, and that was a foul.
He was twice. Fell. Yeah, he fell less.
Yeah.
But he still, when the ball...
He held the ball for the what ended up being the second goal.
Yes. But he also fucked up 3 other times where he's passed the ball and couldn't hold on to it at all for longer than a millisecond.
I'm not saying it was a great game, and as I brought up on Lexi's thread, he went above his bar, even though that bar is incredibly low.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not here. This is not personal against Agumon. I have nothing against the guy.
Well, just like it's not personal against Arson or Berhalter in that sense, but he lumped those 3 together.
But and listen, I want to be clear here. We are not Euro snobs. We both watch MLS. We both have MLS teams. Okay? And we've been watching MLS for a really long time. But we're not also MLS cockslobberers. We're not that either. We see the league for what it is realistically. And we see the player limitations of some of those players. And the ones that are good enough, they'll go. And I understand that there's interest from Derby for Aguiman. I'll believe it when it happens. Although I think he'll do fine in the championship because large mammals often do in the championship.
He has played like one.
So this is not – I don't know why – here's the thing, Brett. Here's the question for you. Why are we all split into two sides? I don't even understand it. I don't understand this one side and this other. Like everybody's divided into two camps. Like I just feel like I can imbibe in both camps. Why can't I be a part of both?
Here's a prime example, Derek. How many weeks leading before the 60-man roster were we hyping up Sebastian Berhalter before it was announced that he was even in the 60?
Weeks.
We were saying, he's playing great for Vancouver. He's scoring goals, bagging assists. He's got to be included in the 60. And he's included. We're like, looking at this roster, I think he should be included in the Gold Cup roster. He gets included there. We weren't bashing him. He comes in here. Hey, he's got good set pieces. He's decent enough on the midfield. He's aggressive. Some of his passes aren't finding the places. It's like I said, it's a mixed bag of results. But we can be that impartial, critical on a guy that we were hyping up at one point. Now, on top of that, where's Cardoso? Oh, Cardoso's playing great for Batiste. He comes here playing for U.S. men's national team. Like, my God, people are lining him up to start against the next camp, and we're just like, what the fuck for? He's not doing shit.
I want to clarify. I don't think we were hyping him up. I think we were saying, hey, look at this guy. He's constantly on the list of guys who are contributing on a regular basis in MLS. Maybe it's time to give him a look. And I said the same thing about Brian White, too. He's the only center forward who's an American who's regularly contributed goals every season and been near the top of the list of goal scorers in MLS and is an American for 2 seasons in a row now, almost 3. So, yes, we said it. We're not on here. We didn't pile on and call those guys, we
didn't polish
crap.
Our feelings. Beforehand, we aren't backtracking now. We talked about why people should be included.
Right.
Said, hey, they could bring something to the squad. And then we watch them and we say, okay.
Right. Maybe this isn't one step too much for them. I don't know. And it certainly looks at times that it has been for some of them. Certainly has been for Aguiman. And as we head towards a final, maybe with Mexico, we're really going to see more flaws, I think, as we go along. Or maybe they get better. I don't know. Maybe they ease into the roles more. They start defining their roles better and they play better. But if that happens, we'll say that too.
With the squad. We're 6 games in with the squad.
I know. But if it happens that by the end of this, they've had 2 good games in a row to end out this tournament as champions, and they play really well, we're going to say that too.
Oh, that's what you're saying, yes.
Yeah, we're not just going to shit on people for jollies. We're doing it because we watch the game and we see flaws and we see deficiencies, and we're going to say what those are. Period. I mean, we do it with the guys from Europe too who play on the national team.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just saying, Brett, I don't understand it. You can critique everybody. Why does it have to be that if you do critique the MLS guys, you must be a Euro snob? And if you don't, and you say, well, this guy's really actually been very good, like Luna, oh, you must be an MLS hag. You must be a MLS, a Bukkake-ite of the MLS, I don't know. We've gotten to a weird place here in the culture especially on social media for soccer, U.S. soccer.
Well, we're going to quickly. He's going to quickly talk about the goalkeeping situation.
It's mind-blowing to see these names here. By the way, the bottom 3, Stefan, Schulte, Callender, all have dealt with injuries here lately. These are all the goalkeepers that have been called up under Pochettino. When you look at the history of the United States men's national team, going back to the days of Tony Miola all the way through Tim Howard and the many names in between, that's always been one of the biggest strong suits of the United States men's national team. And for whatever reason right now, there's a bunch of candidates, but nobody's really rushed to the forefront.
For whatever reason,
For whatever reason, it's not a forever reason. We know what the reason is. and there's several of them. These guys are just simply not as good as the guys prior to them, number one. And B, most of them can't play with their feet.
Yep, the current game of soccer has left our goalkeeping training behind.
Mm-hmm.
It is simple as that. I mean, if Howard, if Mila Friedel, whatever, all those guys were playing now in the international game, they'd still be incredibly good shot stoppers. I'm not taking anything away from them on that front. But would we feel overly confident with Howard with the ball at his feet? Now, I know he scored like a 90-yard goal in the Premier League, and hey, props to him on that one. But, I mean, under pressure, would I feel confident with any of them? Not really.
Not really. And Casey Keller even admits it. He's like, they told me to do that. If I were a goalkeeper today, I'd tell him to go screw off. I'm just going to belt this thing, hoof it up the field. I'm not passing it. Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Because even people on our side of the audience have asked that, like, why is our goalkeeper situation so it's such a strange location for us? We used to be dominant here. We didn't adapt.
No.
And it's going to hurt us because now I think we're changing course now. But I feel like by the time this next group of kids who are out there playing with their feet, the game's going to change again.
It could. And but I think you summed it up. That's the reason we have goalkeeper problems now. Our guys, a lot of them are decent shot stoppers, or at least Matt Turner used to be a good shot stopper, but not anymore. He's lost all his confidence. But Matt Freese is a pretty good shot stopper. And is he great with his feet? Not really. So that's why we see him blasting it down the field. But I think it's pretty clear watching what Poach is doing and watching Poach's post-game interview with the turd behind the scenes, right? Yeah. That, it's he's made his pick. I think it's his job to lose Matt Freese.
So, Derek, we talked about this new A team that Pochettino has. How many of them do you think he's going to have as locked-in starters?
Richards, Ream, Freese, Adams, Tillman. That's about it.
To roll on this team going forward?
I don't think that any of these guys have necessarily locked up spots yet. I want to see what happens in the semifinals against Guatemala. That's going to be a tougher game than it looks on paper. Just ask the Canadians, right? But if they can get to the final, and let's say it's against Mexico, this is a Mexico side that all of a sudden are in form now and seem to have calmed the waters a little bit. I want to see what these guys do in the next couple of games, hoping that they get 2 games out of this, because I'm not going to certainly write down a win against Guatemala like it's taken for granted. But let's hope they get 2 games. I want to see what they can do there.
So I'm assuming, if I were to go back to the question, I'm assuming he's talking about the fringe players, not necessarily the starters like you mentioned. The Richards, the Freese, the Adams, and the Ream. I think those 4 are the only real, most likely locked-in starters for next window with our A team.
Right.
I think Tillman is working his way as a locked-in starter for the next window as well.
Mm-hmm.
But even he's saying, hey, nothing's written in stone right now with these other French players I brought up. So I guess my question is, why are we watching a video where it's listed as a new A team?
It's because it's not. Yeah. It's
clickbait. A new A team with different bench players.
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. That's all I can think of. It's clickbait.
Yep. And let's see here. Just the last little tidbit here where he talks about his MLS bias.
Loving what I've seen from Diego Luna. And look, I'm going to admit to you, I have an MLS bias. I call matches for MLS. I do think that sometimes the players are undervalued in that league. So,
at least he admits it. Give him credit.
Yep. Got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
However, we're talking about the players they're being undervalued, and I think everybody and their mother was ready for Luna to get brought in.
Yeah.
I think most people were expecting some MLS goalkeeper to step up because our European goalkeepers are in shambles at this point.
Yep.
We had to rely on MLS for our wingbacks because we didn't call any of our Euro wingbacks in.
Correct. Well, we called Destin, but
Yeah.
Injured.
So I don't think the players are undervalued because we were there were people that were hyped to see Quinn Sullivan. I mean, has he done anything really to warrant another call-in?
I wasn't one of them, but yeah.
I mean,
Listen, on our show, I've talked about, yes, Quinn Sullivan being one of the regular contributors, right? I've mentioned him. So it's not like I took a poop on him. It's not like I said, it's good for me to poop on. I just said, hey, let's just keep an eye. He's actually contributing. He might move overseas at some point because he's one of the best players on his team. Yeah.
To what degree and everything like that. But I just wanted to pull this up and show a couple of titles for other articles for the team here.
Yeah.
It's resilience on full display. U.S. men's national team denies Costa Rica to reach the semifinals. Inside the U.S. men's national team, badass win over Costa Rica. More like puckered ass.
Jesus.
It's the American mentality.
Yeah, this is just too much. Too much.
U.S. men's national team defeats Costa Rica in the Gold Cup. Matt Freese, Damian Downs are PK shootout heroes.
I suppose they are, in a way.
Matt Freese definitely, and Damian Downs obviously bagging the last one. Everybody's going to remember that.
I mean, the term heroes is a bit much, but okay.
I think Freese could be listed as a hero. He stopped 3, almost stopped another 3 in that game.
I mean,
including the first one that took during regulation.
It's super impressive.
You know what I found out in that video we just watched is that Matt Freese apparently went to Harvard, and he actually studied PK taking. Maybe did like a thesis on the shit or whatever.
Might have
learned motions and everything. That makes sense.
Yeah.
If we get into where we actually have another number 1 goalkeeper in the World Cup, and Matt Freese is on the bench, and we go to PKs, do we sub him in?
So I guess for me, the word hero, as an English literature guy, that's a heavy word. And I mean, I looked at it more as like these guys went out there and they did their job. They did the job they were asked to do. They got through it. I don't think it makes them heroes. I won't go that far, but I certainly was excited. And maybe it's just me. I think it's me as a writer not liking these headlines.
I think stopping 1 PK in a PK shootout is doing what's being asked of you. I think stopping 3 elevates you to hero status.
So is it above and beyond what we would expect? Yes. A hero for me, I'm sorry. Somebody goes in and saves somebody out of a burning house. Maybe I'm just being maybe my standards.
The national team was that burning house, and Freese came in there with all the buckets.
I guess if we want to get extremely metaphoric, he's a metaphorical hero because he stopped what could have been a burning house yesterday. Yes.
What's nice is that, we weren't the only ones who recognized his performance, and U.S. Soccer named him man of the match.
What?
But wait a second. That wasn't what we saw earlier, right?
No, it wasn't.
U.S. Soccer named Matt Freese man of the match. You know who didn't?
Who?
CONCACAF Gold Cup named Arston man of the match.
What?
And I said, hey, look, CONCACAF apparently follows FootMob scores.
They must. They must.
Hey. Okay, so he got a goal and an assist at a 2-2 game ending in regulation. And if you're looking at just that, sure, I could see the man of the match being given to him. But that tells me that CONCACAF didn't actually watch the match.
They didn't.
Neither did FootMob, apparently.
Because although there were 4 goals scored in the game, he was responsible for all 4. The ones against us and the ones for us, where he was somehow involved in all of them. So I don't see how he can be man of the match. I really don't. For me, that's Matt Freese over and over again.
Yeah.
He's the one that went, as we said earlier, way above and beyond, making the one save you're asked to make in a penalty kick situation. He made 3.
I'd give it to Tillman over Arston.
I would too.
He missed the PK, but he was absolutely the man on that field.
He was.
Like, they were looking for him, and Costa Rica was looking for him.
Yep. And he was pushed around and battered, and he still played like a monster. So I don't know. This is the second game of the match, or man of the match from CONCACAF to Arson in a row. I don't know what games they're watching, but apparently they don't watch him play defense. That's all I will say.
The man of the match happens to be who gets the goals and assists, apparently. And I understand why they may look at it like that, assuming that the player had a good game outside of those goals and assists.
Yeah, well, thank God U.S. Soccer got it right. Matt Freese was the man of the match, period. And all that other crap is just that crap. So, and I don't know why CONCACAF has any need to, toot Arson's horn, because I don't think they're necessarily in bed with MLS, but in a lot of ways, there are a lot of connections. Or as you said, they didn't watch the match. They just turned on Foot Mob and said, oh, okay, here's the guy. He got an 8.3. Give him man of the match. All right. Well,
that's all, folks.
That's it, people. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Cover the game live. We'll hope you join us. What time is the game?
7:00.
So we'll be on at about 6:45 on Wednesday. And until then,
that channel.
Yep. See you then.
That hurt.